You equated gun deaths to heart disease in your opening statement.
Yes, sir.
Today's Democrats, when it comes to guns, their objective is to disarm law-abiding citizens.
Through your bipartisan commitment to this public health approach, our country can reduce firearm injury and death for all.
Criminals who come across who are taking people's lives, that is because the Democrats refuse to enforce the law.
We have shown we can reduce the risk of a shooting long before someone picks up a gun with intent to harm.
Senate hearing dynamics. Picture this, a Senate hearing that's more like a verbal sparring match. Ted Cruz and John Kennedy are like tag team partners, but instead of wrestling, they're throwing verbal jabs at Dr. Megan Ranney. What's got them all fired up? Well, it's Dr. Ranney's bold claim that guns should be treated as a public health issue. From the get-go, you can feel the tension rising. Cruz and Kennedy are not holding back. They're like two bulldogs sinking their teeth into Dr. Ranney's arguments. And it's not just a debate, it's a showdown. As the discussions heat up, you can practically see the steam coming out of Cruz and Kennedy's ears. They're not buying what Dr. Ranney is selling, and they're not afraid to let her know it.
You equated gun deaths to heart disease in your opening statement.
Yes, sir. I'm not a lawyer, I'm a physician and a public health professional. I can say that New Mexico has done amazing work, but I have story after story of public health collaborations between gun owners and non-gun owners. I think that you are saying something that I've not said in my written or oral testimony, sir.
Okay.
The atmosphere in the room is charged, with skepticism crackling in the air like electricity. Cruz and Kennedy are like a relentless tag team, taking turns pressing Dr. Ranney on every point she makes. They're not satisfied with her answers and are determined to poke holes in her argument. It's like watching a courtroom drama unfold, with Cruz and Kennedy playing the role of the relentless prosecutors. But Dr. Ranney is no shrinking violet. She's holding her own against the barrage of questions and criticisms. You can see the determination in her eyes as she defends her stance, refusing to back down in the face of the senator's relentless onslaught. Despite the confrontational tone, there's a certain thrill to watching this verbal showdown play out. It's like watching a high-stakes game of verbal chess with each side trying to outmaneuver the other. And through it all, you can't help but be drawn into the drama of it all, eagerly awaiting the next move in this tense battle of wits. Democratic policies and public safety. Imagine a political boxing ring with Ted Cruz and John Kennedy in one corner and Democratic policies in the other. The bell rings and Cruz and Kennedy came out swinging, accusing the Democrats of dropping the ball when it comes to public safety. Their beef, they're calling out the Democrats to putting too much emphasis on gun control and not enough on tackling crime rates and preventing violence. It's like they're saying, hey guys, let's focus on the real issues here. According to Cruz and Kennedy, the Democrats are like broken record, constantly harping on about gun control while ignoring the elephant in the room, rising crime rates and the release of violent criminals. It's as if they're saying, wake up Democrats, there are big fish to fry. In their eyes, the Democrats are missing the mark by prioritizing gun restrictions over addressing the root causes of crime. It's like they're saying, come on guys, let's get our priorities straight.
The Second Amendment in the Bill of Rights is not a public health crisis.
They believe that when a cop shoots a criminal, it's automatically the cop's fault.
It's designed to make people think that certain firearms are more dangerous than others.
Through your bipartisan commitment to this public health approach, our country can reduce firearm injury and death for all.
Is the crime rates that are skyrocketing because Democrats keep letting murderers and violent criminals out of jail?
Cruz and Kennedy paint a picture of Democratic Party that's out of touch with the real concerns of everyday Americans. They're like the voice of reason in a room full of politicians who are more interested in pushing their own agendas than actually making a difference. They're not pulling any punches either. They're laying it all out on the table, calling out the Democrats for neglecting issues related to crime and public safety. It's like they're saying, enough is enough. It's time to get serious about keeping our community safe. In the end, Cruz and Kennedy make it clear they're not going to let the Democrats off the hook that easily. They're determined to hold their feet to the fire and make sure that public safety remains a top priority no matter what. Focus on crime rates. Let's dive into the nitty-gritty of crime rates and public health concerns, a topic that's got Ted Cruz and John Kennedy fired up like a pair of rocket engines. Cruz and Kennedy are like bloodhounds, sniffing out the truth behind the escalating crime rates. They're not mincing words when they lay the blame squarely on Democratic policies that release violent criminals back into the wild. It's like they're saying, "Hey Democrats, your policies are making our streets less safe." But that's not all. Cruz and Kennedy are flipping the script on the narrative that guns are the main culprit in our public health crisis. Instead, they're shining a spotlight on the real issue, rising crime rates. It's like they're saying, "Hold up folks, let's focus on what's really important here, keeping our communities safe."
Today's Democrats, when it comes to guns, their objective is to disarm law-abiding citizens.
Has become America's largest outdoor shooting range.
I've repeatedly introduced legislation to improve school safety, to invest and double the number of police officers in schools. The political ideology of today's Democrats makes no sense. Call it a public health crisis because they want to put supposed experts in charge of disarming.
They're not just blowing smoke either. Cruz and Kennedy are backing up their claims with hard facts, highlighting the gaping chasm between the Democratic agenda and genuine public health concerns. It's like they're saying, "Wake up Democrats, there are bigger fish to fry," like tackling the opioid crisis and addressing the root causes of crime. In their eyes, it's high time for a reality check. Cruz and Kennedy are like the voice of reason in a room full of politicians who are more interested in pushing their own agendas than actually making a difference. It's like they're saying, "Enough with the smoke and mirrors. Let's roll up our sleeves and get to work on the real issues facing our communities." So as Cruz and Kennedy continue to sound the alarm on rising crime rates and public health concerns, one thing's for sure, they're not backing down anytime soon. They're like a pair of bulldogs, sinking their teeth into the tough issues and refusing to let go until real change is made. Gun control versus mental health. Let's shift our focus to a critical aspect of the debate: gun control versus mental health and crime prevention. Ted Cruz and John Kennedy are like two voices in the wilderness, urging their colleagues to see the bigger picture. In the midst of the heated discussion on gun control, Cruz and Kennedy are shining a spotlight on a different angle: mental health. They're not just talking about it, they're shouting it from the rooftops. It's like they're saying, "Hey guys, let's not forget about the mental health piece of the puzzle." But they're not stopping there. Cruz and Kennedy are also emphasizing the importance of implementing crime prevention strategies. It's like they're saying, let's get proactive about keeping our communities safe rather than just reacting to tragedies.
We are at yet another hearing called by Democrats on gun control. Homemade firearms aren't any more dangerous than any other firearms, and for all relevant purposes.
You see decreases in gunshots, in violence, as well as in stress and depression in the neighborhoods around them.
Criminals who come across who are taking people's lives, that is because the Democrats refuse to enforce the law.
They're not afraid to ask tough questions either. Cruz and Kennedy are like a pair of relentless investigators probing the effectiveness of solely focusing on gun control measures. It's like they're saying, are we really addressing the root causes of violence, or are we just putting a band-aid on a gaping wound? In their eyes, mental health support and crime prevention initiatives are the unsung heroes of public safety. It's like they're saying, let's invest in programs that tackle the underlying factors contributing to violence, rather than just treating the symptoms. So as Cruz and Kennedy continue to champion mental health and crime prevention as alternative solutions, one thing's for sure, they're not just blowing hot air. They're like beacons of hope in a sea of political rhetoric, urging their colleagues to take a holistic approach to tackling public safety concerns. And as they keep pushing for change, one can't help but feel hopeful that real progress is on the horizon. Questioning Dr. Rani. Let's zoom in on the intense interrogation Dr. Megan Rani faces from none other than Ted Cruz and John Kennedy. It's like they're grilling her over hot coals, demanding answers to some tough questions. First up on the chopping block, crime rates in Chicago. Cruz and Kennedy are like a pair of bloodhounds, sniffing out any weaknesses in Dr. Rani's arguments. They want to know if she's got the facts straight and if she truly understands the complexities of the situation. But they're not stopping there. Oh no, Cruz and Kennedy are just getting started. They're like a pair of relentless prosecutors cross-examining Dr. Rani on her knowledge and opinions about legal prosecution of gun-related crimes. It's like they're saying, do you really know what you're talking about, or are you just blowing smoke? And as the questioning continues, it becomes clear that this isn't just about Dr. Rani's opinions. It's about a broader debate within the hearing about the effectiveness of proposed solutions.
Do you think it's because of Chicago citizens?
So I don't live in Chicago. It's not my primary area of research.
Gangs should be prosecuted for having illegal guns?
We have shown we can reduce the risk of a shooting long before someone picks up a gun with intent to harm.
Cruz and Kennedy want to know if Dr. Rani's ideas hold water, or if they're just another drop in the bucket of political rhetoric. But amidst all the scrutiny and tough questions, one thing is clear. Cruz and Kennedy are holding Dr. Rani's feet to the fire for a reason. They want to ensure that lawmakers and experts alike are held accountable for their actions or lack thereof in addressing public health and safety issues. So as the dust settles on this intense interrogation, one thing's for sure, Cruz and Kennedy aren't backing down. They're like a pair of bulldogs determined to get the truth no matter how tough the questions may be. And as they continue to push for answers, one can't help but wonder, what other revelations will come to light in this high-stakes hearing? That's all for this video, folks. See you next time.